Yeah, so hi guys. In our last videos, we've been talking about strings. So now in this case, we are going to be talking about numbers, and that's another data type. So let me take out all this, and this number is actually categorized into two. We have integers, and then we have floats. So just let me paste this right here. Yeah, so what are integers? We have integers to be what? Whole numbers, and then we have floats to be decimals. So integers are, I mean, floats are also called doubles, and yeah, we'll talk more on that. So integers here we have let me just give you an example. Ri radius, yes, to be equal to any value. Let me just give it 25. So looking at this now, this is actually a whole number, and then this is the variable name. So it is assigned to this variable to be what? To be radius equals to 25. So this is a whole number. And then as for floats, which is having a decimal sign, it's let me give it a variable name pi and 3.142. Can you see this now? Since it is a in decimal place, then it's regarded if as a float or a double. It is, both of them are still what? They are still numbers. So just like how every maths are being calculated or solved, we always have basic operations, I mean basic operators. So what are the basic operators? We have addition, we have subtraction, we have multiplication, we have division, and then we have this is like raised to the power of. Do you understand? Just like how we are having 5 raised to power of. So the raised to the power here is not this like how it is in the calculator. It is always 2 asterisk, and the asterisk are representing what? Raised to the power. It's just like multiplication, multiplying twice, but it's quite different in this case. So they perform different actions. So let me give you an example under this. So let's have echo, because we want to output the answer. So let me say pi. Okay, yeah, the area of a circle, pi r square. So it's multiplying by r, which is the radius, radius. We have to name it appropriately. R square. So the square is exactly like this. Do you understand now? So now let me now save and then go and output it. If it's correct, you can try it on your calculator. You realize that if my radius is 25, then my area, the area of that circle, should be what? That answer that we got. So that's basic operators. You can do addition, you can do subtraction. Just let me try one more. So this is let me say we are adding this to 25 plus 3, you have 28.142. Yes, 28.142, exactly, that's what we have here. So let's just keep, that's all about basic operators. So we have order of operation. This order of operation simply means if you are solving every mathematical problem, there is an order at which it is being solved. So in PHP, just like how it is in maths, we have board mass, but in this case we have BIDMAS. So following this syntax, this B simply means brackets. So that means everything in the bracket will be solved first. That is the order. And then we can have I is representing what? Indices. Every indices as is something raised to the power of something, like 2 times 10 raised to the power 2. She get, that's what's going to solve next. And then we have division, then multiplication, then addition, then subtraction. We are all conversant with this, but just let's take note of it again. So let me give you an example. So we can echo out something like this: 2, okay, just anything, 2 times, let me now add this in a bracket. So what should be in the bracket? 4 plus 8, and then let me end it with divided by 3. So looking at this now, let me comment this one out so we won't have two outputs. Looking at this, you can what? solve it. Just you must not do it this way, that is 2 times 4 and then your answer plus 8 and then divided by 3. No, 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 it's not going to solve it that way. So it's going to follow this order of operation by adding these two together, which is 12, divided by 3, which is 6, and then 6 plus 2, which is 8. So let me save and then see if it's going to give me that exact answer. Yes, it is 8. Can you see it now? So it followed this order. If you should multiply it this way, 4 times 2, 12, and then adding it with 8, 20, 20 divided by 3 is going to give you a decimal, and that is not what we are solving. So you have to take note of this, because there are actually sometimes that maybe when you create a function and a mathematical function and it's not exactly giving you the answer that you deserve, you should follow this order, so you won't be too confused, or yeah, being too confused. So yeah, in numbers you can also have increment and decrement operators. So what are the operators? It's just like you are adding and you are subtracting, that is increment and decrement, increasing and decreasing or reducing. So yeah, we can have something like this to be increasing radius and then plus 1. Okay, let me okay, what's this? Let me echo this out and see if it's gonna work. Let me comment this one out also. So echo plus 1, what does it, I mean radius plus 1, what does it give me? 26, which is because we have it to be 25 before. Now we are overriding it to be what? To be 26, because it is adding plus 1. So instead of doing this, there is an operator that you can use towards to increase. So we can have it this way, and that is more like a shorthand operator, but it is increasing it what? Not twice, is actually increasing it once. So once we have things like this, let me save it this way. Now take note of something. Our radius here is initially 25, and then I added this 2 plus sign. Let's see what is going to happen. I've saved it and now let me run. Can you see it's still giving me out 25? There is a reason. This is still 25, and then I asked it to what? To echo radius, and then this radius is being outputted as the exact same thing that it has here before, 25, before adding one more to it. So if I'm to echo out the radius again, you realize that the value that you have here will be quite different from what we have before. We are going to say something else. Can you see? This is 26. Don't mind the joining, I can break that. So we have 25, now 26. That means the radius initially was 25 and now it has been increased to 26, though we only did the increment operation once. So what I'm just trying to explain here is this is a post increment, and let me write that here. So this is post, so this is post increment. Sorry about my spelling, but the meaning is that it is increasing after printing out or echoing the results. So the final result is being stored in this variable radius. So it is more like it print out the initial value and then it increased it, but it saved it. Do you understand? So now when we are now reprinting, that is echoing it out again, then it now prints out the final value. Do you get that now? So instead of doing this, we can as well, I don't want to tamper with this, so just let me, okay, I don't want to tamper with this, so just let me copy this out and paste it here and turn this to what? Plus plus. Yeah, so I don't know if it's gonna come out. Yeah, it did. So yeah, you can see this way now. I added the plus plus sign to the back. This is actually pre-increment. This is called pre-increment. That is, it will increase it before displaying. It will increase it, not actually before displaying. It will increase it before saving it inside this what? Variable. So it's more like we are replacing the initial value that we have from 25 is now being increased to what, to 26, and then is now saved in this what, this variable. So now that it's now being saved into in this variable, that is when it echoes it out, and that's why it's going to echo out. And then what do we have here? Yeah, 26. So if it were to be minus minus, so what do you think that would be the answer? Is going to what, reduce it to be 24. Can you see it now? So yeah, so as we have post increments, we have pre increments. So since I've typed that, let me just type this again. So we have pre increments here. So let me comment this out. Yes, we have shorthand operators. So what are shorthand operators? Shorthand operators. Okay, so let me declare another variable age. Age to be what, 20. Yeah, let me just use 20. So like I said before, age can be added. You can decide to add 10 to your age, and in this case let's try and echo it out and then see our results. So you can assume what the result will be now. 20 plus 10, right? So 20 plus 10 here simply what gives us 30, but instead of writing out the mathematical solving this way, you can decide to write a shorthand command. And what does the shorthand command mean? You just write it this way. So what does this simply mean? It means that the initial value of age, which is 20, is now adding what, 10 to it. So adding this 10 to it makes it what, 30. So it is still the same thing, it's still performing the same function, and then we still have the same what, result. So aside this, let me copy this and then paste this also, and then comment this one out. Yes, so instead of having it plus, we can have it in form of minus. Yes, and then let's save and see. Can you see it is 10? That is, it is minusing 20 by 10. So same way you can have multiplication. So that means the value of age, which is initially 20, is now multiplied by what's 10, and then what will be the answer? Can you see 200? And so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. So that's how we do this. So another thing is number functions. So number function, just like how we have functions for strings, we can also have functions for what, let me reduce this. We can also have functions for numbers. So one that I'm very familiar with is floor, floor. So if I'm using floor, it is more like it is rounding up to the nearest whole number. Yes, floor rounds up to the nearest whole number. And let me, since we are talking about rounding up, let me make use of a decimal. So I assigned a value to a variable pi initially, and that was what, 3.142, since it's a decimal, and then we are flooring it. So checking this, what do you have here? Okay, I thought it was going to display something now. Let me just save. Yeah, so flooring it was, we round up the value for pi into the nearest whole number. So since it's 3.142, this one cannot be rounded up because it is not up to 5. So that's the reason why you still have 3 in your output. So oh yeah, still 3. So let me comment this one out so it won't be disturbed. So as we have this, we can also have what's it called, seal. SEIL, seal is representing ceiling. So any float or any double, just let's call it float, is going to what, take it to the nearest integer number. That is, looking at this now, this is 3, right? The nearest integer will be what, to be 4. So it is not rounding up, it is just from taking it to the nearest. So can you see this is 4? So if this is to be 5, then the next will be what, it will be 6, and so on and so forth. So yeah, we have another type of function. Sorry, let me just take that back. I'm commenting it out. So we have another type of function which is what echo. uh yeah, some mathematical function like square root, sqrt. This is actually a function also. Can I say you just pass in the argument square root of, let me say, age. Square root of age is what? Square root of age is square root of 20. So I think that's gonna give me some decimal. Yeah, can you see it's calculated it for me? Same way we have some, I explained what a function is. There are some functions that comes along with the package, which is PHP. So sqrt is part of those functions, and it has been given a function for it to perform. So here we can have pi is also a function, and we don't need to pass in an argument to this because it's a different type of function. So in this case, pi will just give me it to output the value of pi itself. So you can see all these long values, 3.14, and so that is the default value for pi. Yeah, so I think that's the end for numbers. So in our next video we'll be talking about arrays.